Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 3G's Fitness Podcast, 3 generations of fitness. I am Coach Cisco.
I'm Coach Michael.
I'm Coach Kyle.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break it down on helping the average person on what to look for when it comes to finding a personal trainer. You have 3 trainers here, all of 3 different generations, all that have worked with many different clienteles. So one of the first things that I will probably start off with is you probably want to start off with a trainer that knows what they're doing.
The most basic one.
Yeah.
Yes, the most basic.
Would help.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
That would help. And usually with that,
But how would you know that?
I'm a big believer in asking for experience. So, it kind of sucks if you're just starting off. Of course, you're not going to have any experience, but you're going to have book smarts. But I feel like someone with more than a good few years of experience is always going to be a good start.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's always going to be important. I'll ask you, Mike, what else should people look for when it comes to looking for a personal trainer?
I'm not saying anyone can go get certified or get certification.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at a guy, I look at a person to see what condition they're in, what's their fitness level, as far as physically, not mentally.
Right.
Okay, because to me, physically, you got to get there. Okay, and I can't read what's in their mind.
Well, yeah.
Okay, that's when I say mentally, I can't read what's in their mind, but I can look at them and say, okay, that guy knows what he's doing, or that woman knows what they're doing.
Based off of what he's doing with their own body, right?
Because if
They
they
practice what they preach.
If they practice what they preach, exactly.
and that's important, because if I see that this person, is in great shape, really built, I know he had to earn it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just wasn't given to him.
Mm-hmm.
He had to earn it. So that would tell me he knows something. How much? That's hard to say because, like I said, I don't know them mentally. I don't know what their level is. But I do know physically they look good. They had to have done something to get there.
Okay, so you're looking at, I mentioned years of experience. You're looking about what you see with your eye.
Yeah.
So what about you, Kyle? When it comes to helping those look for a personal trainer, what advice would you recommend for them to look for?
Aside from the ones that you guys already mentioned, I would probably say find someone that matches your personality. Because there are so many different types of coaches. They're the mellow coaches, they're the football coaches type of coaches. So find whatever you feel like would relate to you more.
Because you got to be able to mesh well.
That's what I was gonna say. You find someone you can mesh well.
And it's kind of hard to see that right at first glance. You might need to go a few times to kind of figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do think that you got to be able to mesh well with the person you're with.
Yeah.
To kind of make sure they keep coming back.
Because it's a long-term game, right? And if you find someone who you really don't tolerate, then why even continue,
Mm-hmm. So I think that one. I think another thing too is look at the clientele that the trainer's working with and see if you relate to that clientele.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a certain trainer maybe working with a bunch of women and you are a woman,
mm-hmm.
then maybe that would be the trainer that should probably go geared towards your fitness levels.
Right.
Then same thing. If you see a trainer that's working with a bunch of seniors, maybe that's the trainer I want to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of look at who the clientele of the trainers, and see which ones relate to you.
What if you have a trainer that works with a lot of women and he's a male? Would you go with him?
Yeah. If I'm a woman?
No, I'm saying if you're a male trainer and you have all women clientele, would you go with them?
Yeah, because he understands his own body. Same thing. If he's like how you said, if that's a male trainer that looks good, already has that, I'll go with him because it's like, all right.
I'm talking about another trainer that I don't want to go into names, but he would only train women.
Mm-hmm.
Only train women.
Yeah.
Well, if that's all he trains and he's not going to train
about
males, then I wouldn't go with him.
Well, that's something.
But what if he looks super buff and fit?
Yeah, but if it's up to him, right? I mean, I'm not going to be the same thing if all he does is just train women, and if he is publicly commercializing that I'm only a women's trainer, then I'm not going to go to him because it's like, okay, he probably just works with that demographic.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if he just happens to have a bunch of women client and he's open to taking males, I'll work with him because it's one of those, like I said, you're looking at if he has the experience, if he looks the part, one of the things is we'll probably be able to relate with certain things too when it comes to that too. So I think it's got to be, your trainer's got to be relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, once again, whether it's be relatable because you guys are, you know, come from the same background, or relatable because maybe personalities just mesh real well.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
you gotta be able to be, you know, able to want to come back and whatnot. So I think when it comes to looking for a trainer, like I said, you first got to realize what your goals are too. You know, if maybe you're trying to be a power lifter, are you gonna technically work with the functional training coach?
No. Yeah, you got to know what their specialty is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely important.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
And so, like for me, if I were to get a personal trainer today, right now, personally, I know I would go with what areas do I need the most work on.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like right now, is my mobility and my flexibility is probably the area that needs the most work. So I would personally look for a trainer that focuses on that. And so it's like, all right, if you're more of a mobility / stretching trainer, I would personally go work with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be also self-aware of what you need. I believe in a previous episode, you mentioned, Kyle, how our jobs as trainers is to give our clients what they want, but bridging the gap in what they need.
Yeah. Bridging the gap.
And I think that's where a lot of the times, if you're looking for a trainer, you need to know what you're good at, and you need to know what you need help at.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be vulnerable enough to accept, I need help with this section. Let me invest my hard-earned money on the person that's going to help me out with this part right here.
Right. Yeah. Also, another one too. If you have the ability to kind of see your options in terms of trainers from afar, like let's say you're at 24 Hour Fitness and you can see the other trainers working, I say look for a trainer that's attentive, you know, someone who is like fully engaged in the client, someone who's not just like stuck on their phones 24/7, not really paying attention to their client.
Yeah. I think that's a big one. That's a big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah,
when
for
when
sure.
I used to be a fitness manager at a corporate gym, I was very keen on that. Like, hey, the only time your phone should be out is if you're using it as a stopwatch and that it's visible to both you and your client.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using it as a stopwatch like this and your client's right there, no. I was like, put it right next to your client or put it where both of you guys can see.
Yeah.
So also you are being alert, you are being attentive. And also when it comes to that, don't pick the trainer that is Mr. Socializing also with, you know, they're training their client right here, yet they're having a conversation over there with like, you know, their gym buddies or something like that. It's like, you know, all right, Joe, you got 4 more. Hey man, that game was pretty awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
All
boils
right.
back to what I say, was just you have to find an attentive one.
And so, and like I said, that's where a lot of the times too is you'll see it with experience. You know, it's one of those where your good experienced trainers know how to make their clients feel like they're the only person that matters right then and there.
Yeah. But there's going to be a little side note or a little nuance to this. Now, if you're at, let's say, 24 Hour Fitness and you have to choose between 2 very new trainers who has 0 experience, you know, I say choose the one that is very genuine in their approach. Someone you really can tell that's like, okay, they're trying their best to really help me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, you
Someone who really puts in the effort.
Yeah. You've been quiet a lot, man. I was like, Mike's all like, damn, man, I'm none of those.
Sheesh.
you know,
Sheesh. Oh, you got to rebuttal that, Mike.
there's just some topics you just kind of like sit back and just listen.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, let's ask you right now. If you were to look for a trainer today, what would you personally?
today,
Yes,
see, it's
today.
kind of hard to.
Because you're 68.
I'm 68. I'll say I'm 69. I'm halfway there.
All right, so you're 69. You're
Now, this is my problem with that. Okay, for me to go in and to look at a person to train me, it's hard to do that because of my past
Yeah, that's why.
of what I've done. My expectations would be too high. I don't think there would be a trainer in there that could train me. I would.
So what are those expectations?
What's that?
What are your expectations? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm
Personal.
looking for a trainer that could be able to tell me, okay, this is how you can get stronger, or this is how you can physically get better in your movements and this and that. That's what I'd be looking for. And to me, I could figure that out myself
But do you do it?
because I've been doing it for so long. I can figure out how I need to train,
No.
what I need to do.
No, I don't.
So I don't think there's a trainer that could really help me at my point now.
Yeah, but I feel like what you just said is like you could do it. That's why I said, but do you do it? Like, are you up there really doing functional stuff? Are you really up there doing it? A lot of us know.
Functional, no.
Yeah, because you just said you want to move better, right?
Functional, no.
See?
I believe that, I can train myself, and I have done that. I have trained myself to move better. I have trained myself to lift better, lift differently. I've done that on my own because I've been doing this for so long.
Yeah, but
So how can I go to somebody that's only been doing it for 5-6 years?
well, because they probably might learn something new. Like there's so many things that Kyle has. Dude, we did an episode on foam rolling.
Well,
and look how new that was to you.
And I still don't do foam rolling.
So you should get a trainer that helps you foam roll.
No, I don't do foam rolling
Because
even though we did the episode and even though I know what a foam roller is, I don't even do it now.
See, so you should hire a trainer
He's
to
putting
help.
himself on blast right now.
Yeah, but in that episode,
But I
you were
do,
like,
I wouldn't hire, but I do ask for advice. Okay, which I just recently have done.
So
to improve my rotator cuff, I've asked for advice. With someone that I think is very knowledgeable in that area.
well, there you
But
go.
my thing is, I don't go to him and ask him to train me. Okay. But I do know that he knows certain things on the function of the body. So that's how I ask. But my point is this,
It was
if a guy at 25 or 26, 27 went into the gym to pick a trainer, obviously it's because he really doesn't know that much about it.
It was just a theoretical question, Mike. He just wanted to see if you were to
But
look
we're
for a
talking about
trainer.
me.
Yes.
But it was a theoretical question. Like
But it's
if
Theoretical
you were
question, but we're talking about me.
exactly.
Okay? About
So
me,
if you were put in a position to where you could choose a trainer, you would choose not to. You'd be like, nah, I'm good. I already know my stuff.
right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
okay.
I wouldn't pick a
Okay.
trainer.
Okay.
Because I just
There you
don't
go.
think
Just end it there.
There you go. All right. Mike is just superhuman.
we'll just
Mike
we'll
is
end
just
it there.
superhuman. Mike is just superhuman. That's all it is. So it's all like,
Yeah,
he just
is
said
this
he
a
didn't
trainer
know
that
about
He
doesn't
foam
need it.
rolling.
Yeah, he doesn't need
He
it.
just asked somebody help with rotator cuff, but no, I don't need it.
with a body part. But
He's
my
gonna
point-
add for advice,
Yeah,
but not
he's gonna
enough.
go ask for advice.
No.
But it's like,
You guys are
it's-
getting a little off track here, all right? What I'm saying is, if a guy comes in, okay, and let me change that up a little bit. If a guy comes in, and this is say, the guy's like bench pressing 400 and doing this, bad. Then I would look at that and say, yeah, man, because I'm going to learn from this guy.
Okay, so that's your expectation.
But I
Someone who
thought we were
can-
talking about trainers that are just coming in, that have probably been training about 4 years, 5 years,
No, we're talking about.
No, we just wanted to know what your expectations are in looking for a trainer. It was
I
super
mean, I can
simple.
look and see. If I can look and see. A guy bench pressing 400. A
You
guy
can't
bench.
assume that every trainer we're talking about is a young trainer.
Well,
That's what the thing is that
Yeah.
we're asking you a theoretical
Yeah.
question, and you're all like, "No, man, that trainer doesn't know as much as I do."
Yeah,
What if
for
the
real.
trainer's older than you?
Yeah.
What if the trainer is 75 years old?
I don't think so, man.
What if the trainer is
What
75
if?
years old? Yeah,
It's a theory. It's a
what if?
theoretical
See?
question. It's just for
You gotta
conversation's
open your
sake.
mind.
It's
If
for
a trainer came
conversation's
in
sake.
at 75 and was
Wanted to train you, you wouldn't
wanted
train
to train me, I definitely look at the way he looks.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if he moves
Yeah,
better?
yeah.
What if
You
he
know.
can lift his feet?
But you
better?
said that in the beginning.
So-
I doubt if he might be able to.
Yeah. So would you work with him?
It depends. I have to look at him and see, if he's capable, of training me to my level. If a guy comes in that's bench pressing 400, 500 pounds, I'm going to look at him and I'm going to be, okay, this guy's going to teach me something.
But what is he gonna teach you
Okay.
at this age?
Huh?
Why does that?
He's not going to teach me how to lift as much as him, but he's going to teach me the way to lift to be able to hit this weight. And there may be something that I'm not doing right that he can correct on me because I know he knows.
Let me ask you this. You just mentioned you have a rotator cuff issue. If you had a trainer that knew how to work specifically with rotator cuffs and can only bench 135 versus another trainer who can bench 400 pounds.
And doing it wrong?
I just said it. If there's a
Because
trainer
you
that
bench
can bench
400 pounds, you're probably doing it right.
So, and then you have a trainer that is specializes in rotator cuff recovery, but can only bench 135 pounds. Which trainer would you work with?
Obviously, I work with the guy that's benching 400.
Wow. And you just said you
Okay.
have...
But you know why?
Because
It's because his value is still the same in terms of
Yeah.
training. He still wants to lift heavy.
They're doing something.
So-
I can bench press 135 pounds. Okay, I can do that.
But you just said you have a rotator cuff injury, and there's a trainer that specializes in recovering.
Well, it's just because his
cuff.
priority is powerlifting.
Yeah,
His priority
that's
is
why
like
it's like-
getting heavy lifting.
You just
So-
mentioned it right now too. Yeah, you go to someone for advice about your rotator cuff. So that tells us
it
that-
wasn't initially a rotator injury.
but it's
Okay.
to help you recover. right?
It was non-usage of the rotator cuff.
All right, let me ask you.
basically what it was.
I want to throw this last.
And that's how I had this. I got that
This is actually-
straightened out.
I mean, he answered the question now. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah, you already did.
we got it.
But
It's okay.
yeah, you already did. I was gonna ask you another one, but I think you already pretty much answered it. That what you prioritize, because I was gonna say, what if the doctor told you you need to work on your rotator cuff, and we have that same trainer that can only bench 135. That's a rotator cuff specialist, or you have that trainer that can bench 400 pounds. Which of the two trainers?
Now I'm
would
gonna take the one that can bench 400 pounds.
you- and that's all we need, ladies and gentlemen.
I will.
Wants
because-
versus needs, right
Wants
there.
versus,
Wants
you
versus
told
needs.
Me do not go for needs then.
Hey, because I can
you
tell
do not
when he
go for needs.
when he benches 400 pounds, man, that he's doing something.
You can't get mad at that
Right.
though, because we did ask what would he choose, and he gave us the answer. So, I mean,
yeah,
you know,
you definitely go for wants over
yeah,
needs.
it's okay.
You have not matured a single bit, Michael Jeffrey Felcher. And with that being said, you guys
Find a great trainer. You know, there's so many ones out there. Try out different stuff, and yeah.
And like I said, you guys, they're gonna be out there. Just Google them, search them, and always remember you're gonna be vulnerable. So
Yes.
accept it and find the trainer that will fit all of your buckets that you're trying to cross off.
Yes, and if you're in Huntington Beach or somewhere within the area, we got trainers right here. You know, we are open to taking on new people. We can put you through a trial session to see how you like our sessions, and yeah,
There you go. You got two trainers that will give you what you need, and one trainer that will give you what you want.
Exactly.
So, like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next episode. I'm Coach Cisco.
Coach Michael.
Coach Kyle. See you later.